Good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majestic back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Weather Studios with your weather update here on your June the 17th, 2026. Wrapping up our Wednesday on a pretty good note. We got sunshine, nice clouds out there, but of course, all attention's on the tropics as we're anticipating what is now Tropical Storm Arthur to bring its remnants in our direction. And the question marks remain on just how much rain are we going to see across North Georgia. Now, before we get going into this full report, if you're new here to our YouTube channel and you live anywhere across North Georgia, let me quickly introduce myself as your personal weatherman, and I'd love for you to hire me. I'm on a mission to build a professional 24-hour weather channel, and when you're trying to do something like this, folks, it is all about the numbers, and you can help. Real simple. Please subscribe to the channel, and more importantly, make sure you hit that notification bell so you're alerted on all future weather updates, because if you don't, YouTube won't alert you that we've updated our forecast, or perhaps we're doing some live severe weather coverage, which we will do when warranted. All right, let's go ahead and get into this update this afternoon. It's looking gorgeous out there. Take a look at that blue sky there in Dahlonega for this afternoon. Fair weather cumulus clouds. We're staying dry up here across North Georgia for today. Outside my back door here in Braselton, a little hazier here, but still look at some sunshine, some clouds. Temperature is pretty comfortable. I'm looking at 82 degrees right now. And, of course, the big stories of the day has got to be Arthur. Yeah, just knew I had to throw a little Arthur meme in there from that 1980 movie. But Arthur's sitting there right there on the coast, boy. I mean, it's practically sitting right on the coast right there. And it's going to hug the coast. So this thing's not really going to get a chance to really develop. But you see the track that's going to take this thing right up into Louisiana. Then eventually you're going to make that turn and head toward Mississippi and Alabama. The question is, how far north is it going to get? All right. Now, satellite picture showing this is a very disorganized system. Again, we got our central circulation sitting somewhere over here. All the thunderstorms are blowing off. That tells me we have wind shear, which is a bad thing when it comes to tropical systems. You got to think of tropical systems almost like a chimney. They're a big heat engine. They got to bring the heat in at the surface and bring it out the top. And right now, the chimney is blocked because of those winds. So it's never going to get really fully organized, but it's going to pull a tremendous amount of this moisture and bring it right into the southeast. And we're going to see some heavy rains. Now, the good news is this thing is moving and not going to camp across the southeast. So the flooding should be relatively minor, not massive on some scales like we've seen with past tropical systems. Here's where the current watches are sitting here. Now, we do have the flood watches up here across Georgia, parts of North Georgia, going all the way back toward Texas there, down toward the Florida Panhandle. You can see that very clearly there. We have our tropical storm warnings here right along the coast as this thing is expected to make landfall going in forward tonight. It's really, I don't know if you can call it landfall. It's kind of skirting the coast to begin with. But anyway, moving inland a little bit more as we go through tonight and into tomorrow. Now, we're going to be tracking where that heavy rain goes. This is the excessive rainfall outlook here. You see that red. That's really kind of the real heavy stuff there. That's where it's going to really be piling up significantly. Here it is going forward tomorrow. Now, all of North Georgia here under that 15% chance of seeing some isolated flood pockets, which is with tropical downpours, not out of the question. But you can see where it's clearly favored down here toward the south. Okay, that down there in that red zone, that is where the heaviest rain is going to fall. And that'll kind of linger there going into Friday as well. Now, once we get into the weekend, we will see things improve. Saturday looking better. We clear on out there. And Sunday, also not looking bad across North Georgia. We'll watch our next storm system approaching going into early next week. Now, we do have a severe weather component with this system as well. So look at the severe weather outlook here. Obviously, here for today, it's down along the Gulf Coast. You can see that slight risk in there, and you see that down there in the yellow. But look what happens as we go into day 2, and we'll watch this closely to see if they go from a marginal, which is right now level 1, to see if they go to a level 2 or not. We'll watch closely. But again, there are going to be some pockets, some gusty winds. I've noticed in some of the models showing wind gusts up to 45 and some of the local squalls that are coming through there. But brief heavy rains, and it's just moving on. So again, not overly high, but we do have a tornado risk with this. This is going to be, looks like south of Metro Atlanta, or basically right along Interstate 20 and southward. So they did include a lot of central Georgia in with this. Again, we're talking 2 to 4% range there. And then obviously we got to watch the wind threat with this system as it's coming on through. That kind of covers everybody there with those gusty winds with some of the squalls potentially there. Again, nothing widespread, folks. This is a weak tropical system, nothing like a landfalling hurricane, nothing on that scale. All right, let's look at the regional radar again. You kind of see where the current pictures are. This is what we're waiting on, our storm system down here, seeing the rains down here to the south. And some of this might sneak into southern portion of Metro Atlanta here going for tonight with some evening storms. That's a possibility there. You can see the local radar picking up on some of that as well, down here toward Griffin and over toward Milledgeville with some spotty showers down that way. And again, the best rain chances will be arriving going in for tomorrow. as temperatures today warming up nicely. We'll top out in the 80s for everybody this afternoon. And tomorrow will not be the same story. We will definitely be cooler tomorrow thanks to all that wet weather. All right, let's get into the model data here. Let's look at the latest 12Z runs. I'm going to show you 2 of the short-range model runs here as we take a look at this, as we go ahead and put this into motion here, as we're going to watch that surge of moisture come up there as we go toward tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning, here's all that moisture coming at us here. Now, this looks like the core of this system on this run. This is the high-resolution model. Does bring it right smack over Atlanta. Looks like it goes right smack over Atlanta. And you see some pretty good rains out ahead of this thing. It comes on through. And then we got a cold front behind here. That's what this is behind this. This is a cold front coming in that's going to clear everything out with that system, and this kind of moves on through. So this is the high-resolution version, all right? Now let's go look at the rapid refresh version for a comparison, similar with some differences in there. So we're going to look at that. Here's the 12Z run on this one. Again, we're watching that moisture coming up out of the Gulf, but a lot of the heavier rain stays south. It's putting a lot of the heavy emphasis down here and not so much up across North Georgia. So the rainfall amounts are significantly lower on this particular model, but the center core goes over there and it kind of sweeps on out and clears out for the weekend. So Saturday's looking pretty good there. All right. Now let's talk about rainfall totals. Okay. So we saw this one. All right. Let's kind of leave this one right at 5 o'clock on Saturday. Let's take a look here at the storm totals. Okay. Precipitation totals on this one. I'm going to zoom in closer. You see some pockets of some heavy rain, but not bad for a lot of North Georgia on this model. This is the rapid refresh version, okay? Now, let's compare this to the high-resolution one. Take a look at this one, all right? These are, boom, a lot more showing up on this one, okay? So I tend to favor the wetter model because tropical moisture typically is underrated when it comes to these type systems. And but like I said, the good news, this thing is moving pretty good. So I think the 1 to 2 inch range is pretty decent. And we might see some locally heavier pockets, but I think the heavier rains are going to clearly be down here to the south. Like you see Mississippi, like 6.5 over there, 5.5 down at Greenville. I think the southern zones will probably see the heavier precipitation amounts here as compared to North Georgia. We're going to get a good downpour. Don't get me wrong. We might see some little gusty winds, but really nothing we can't handle. I think we're going to be okay with this, all right? Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our forecast maps here as we're watching this cold front dive to the south that's going to pick up our system and dive it right on out the eastern seaboard here as we're going to get a pretty nice weekend behind this front going in for Saturday, and then we'll quickly have another front coming in behind it going to Sunday and Monday as the rain chances will come back up once again. So the forecast there for Gainesville, 81-72, rain likely. Keep your umbrella handy as we watch the squally weather kind of come on into the area. Looking at your high lows for tomorrow, it's going to get real muggy overnight, folks. It's going to be very tropical. Most everybody will be in the 70s, perhaps a few upper 60s up there in the northeast Georgia mountains. But look at the temperatures here as I go forward here to the day. Getting near 81, 80. You can see it, then the rains kind of come in. It really kind of depends on when the rains kind of come in overall, but we'll float around 80 degrees but staying pretty much wet here into the afternoon for most of the day. So kind of a damp, not really a big difference in temperature from the morning into the afternoon. That's looking very evident there. And look at your highs here all across the southeast. Yeah, we got a lot of rain in here. You want some hot weather? Go over to the Carolinas. We're still holding on to the 90s over there into the upper 90s, okay? Next 7 days, here we go. All right, let's bring in that rain chance on Friday. Looks like that may be early on Friday. I think we're drying out by the afternoon. Saturday's looking pretty good. Sunday, maybe an isolated chance of rain, but another chance with our next storm system coming in on Monday. And then there's question marks on Tuesday, Wednesday. The GFS was saying maybe a wedge coming in on Wednesday. The cooler air coming down the eastern side of the Appalachians. Europeans saying not so much, but a question mark there for day 7 for sure. But looks like we're in store for a decent weekend. That's looking pretty evident. Now, with all this rain coming at us, folks, if you'd like to track along, I do have a free weather app for you guys. So go ahead and take a snapshot with your phone. There's the QR code. The one on top is for you Apple users of the App Store, and the one on the bottom is for you Android users for Google Play, okay? Go ahead and take a snapshot, download this weather app. It's going to alert you when rain's approaching your area, lightning nearby. It'll give you an hour-by-hour forecast. It'll also give you a futurecast, kind of show you where that radar is expected to go over the next hour. And obviously severe weather alerts if that's warranted. Again, this is a great app, one of the best in the weather business from our friends at Barron Services in Huntsville, and brought to you by our guys in Roof It Forward over there in Woodstock. If you do need a roof, these guys do a great job. One of the best roofer companies here in Atlanta. You know what? They also give a portion of each job back to local children's charity. They really do pay it forward. Check them out. All right, again, I appreciate you guys checking us out. We're going to stay busy here on the YouTube channel. We will be doing a strictly tropical update after 5 o'clock this afternoon, so you can look for that here on YouTube. And we'll be doing another tropical update on YouTube tomorrow morning early. Okay, that right now is the schedule for us posting here on YouTube. I got to work tomorrow afternoon at Fox 5, and I'll be working there, the Fox Local folks over there for tomorrow afternoon. But I will do an update for you guys in the morning so you guys have an idea if there's been any changes in our forecast. Again, I appreciate you guys checking us out. Hit that subscribe button if you can. Be part of our weather family. And very importantly, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on all future weather updates. All right, you guys take it easy. Be good, stay safe, and we will see you tomorrow. You guys have a best rest of your day. And, of course, look for that tropical update a little bit later today. Bye-bye.